have to be very truthful, that is what motivated my being selected or winning, because it was a competition with 8 people, 5 men and 3 women. So it could have been a man winning the race. I'm very happy I'm the first woman. I'm happy I'm the first African. Why not? That's what I tell people. But I don't think it's about those 2 attributes. I think it's about competence. In other words, you have an organization with a lot of issues. This is the moment you need someone with the skills needed to turn it around. And I actually think that's what I bring. And the membership also thinks so. I bring a fresh pair of eyes to the problems of the WTO, coming in as an outsider. And I think you need that to be able to break the old ways of doing things. My mantra is, we can't have business as usual in this organization. We can't continue to have debates on serious issues of world trade, where we need to be making rules about e-commerce and the digital economy. We need to be making rules about trade and climate. We need to be making rules about women and trade. We need to pay attention to these modern issues that are before us and not debating about, and having different stands on all our differences. We now need to come together and solve these issues. And I think I bring the skills to bring people, members together.
Terminology arose when the Times of London, the Times newspaper, published an article which said women CEOs, the appointment of women CEOs to major businesses lead to low share prices. And a researcher called Michelle Ryan, who I'm delighted to say is coming on as director of the Global Institute for Women's Leadership Asia Pacific, which will be based at the Australian National University, saw that article and thought to herself, that doesn't seem right to me. And so she dug into the data, and what she actually found, it was the other way around. Falling share prices predicted the appointment of a female CEO. So when an organisation, a business was going well and they needed a new CEO, they said to themselves, well, we'll get someone a lot like the last CEO. So that would tend to be a man because that had been their history. It was only when things were going badly that they said to themselves, we've got to shake things up here. We need change. We've got to do something radically different. And they were open to appointing the first woman. And I think there's another dynamic to this too, that these positions are inherently risky, and many men who have got a range of opportunities in front of them might steer away from the really risky ones, whereas women, intuitively knowing they've probably got less of a range of opportunities, might be more likely to take them, because if they let this opportunity go by, they would fear they're not going to get another one. What does that mean when we look at women's appointments into roles historically held by men, whether it's Ngozi in the WTO or any other woman? It means we've got to be very thoughtful about cause and effect. I think it's too easy for all of us to do what the Times newspaper did and to conclude that somehow things that are going wrong are the fault of the woman, rather than standing back and saying this organisation had a big range of pre-existing difficulties. Let's remember that and factor that in to the judgments of the woman's performance.